I am back in Phoenix, Arizona, garden hopping with Jack Davis at Epic Yard Farm. Now, Jack is connected to so many wonderful gardeners in the valley, and we're going to check out some of those gardens on my vlogs coming up. But first, let's see what's changed in Jack's garden since June.
Hi, Kaye.
Hi, it's so nice to be back here.
Nice to have you here.
This is one of the most exciting things that's come since June that I've seen. So tell me about your new addition.
So this is our new fence for the front yard, and we decided to incorporate an insect hotel in here. These blocks will have holes drilled in them for the solitary bees. That way they have a safe place to nest and brew their young. And here, this pine cone section is more for the ladybugs. They'll come in the spring and they'll lay eggs in here, and this is kind of protected from all the birds, so it's safe for them. So if we have aphids, they have a home to stay here permanently. And here we have a little section here for lizards and spiders. There are also garden helpers to get insects that is damaging our plants.
If you're not lucky enough to have a husband whose hobby is welding, you can still make an insect haven, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can build much smaller scale using wood frame. Some people use terracotta pot and just fill it in with wood like this that has holes drilled to it, or you can coil up cardboard and stuff them in there. They just need little crevices that's protected from the bird and also the cold and the sun. People focus on the honeybees, but the solitary bees, the native solitary bees, are actually very important too. Examples are the mason bee, the carpenter bee, the digger bee, even things like the wasps. They all pollinate the flowers. We're going to fill in more with different setup for different species and different insects.
Cool. What else is new?
Lots.
Is this the way the mulberry looks in the winter? So this really helps with your tour? That's a very cool trellis. This is the caper, right?
This is the flower bud, and what you normally eat in a restaurant and what you buy as capers are these flower buds. So the smaller ones are more expensive than the bigger ones.
Oh, okay.
And there's another caper food item is the caper berries, and when they're a little larger like this is when I harvest and pickle them. You get to enjoy the flower. It's just stunning flower, and you get the flower show and you get to harvest the caper berry for pickling.
There are all kinds of exchanges of information going on right now between tours and workshops and of course on Facebook.
And also there's a lot of different corners of the Low Desert Valley in the Phoenix area we're trying to organize groups where people can exchange harvests, exchange seeds, things like that. So it's such an exciting time in the valley. It's just there's a lot of buzz about growing your own food and sharing your abundance.
Right, right. But what do you think is at the core of it? Is it really all about more people are feeling the need to take back their own food security? Is that really the heart of it?
I believe so, and a lot of it is for health too, and current state of the country, there's a lot of stress, so the gardening also help relieve the stress.
That's right. It's a stress reliever for sure. Yeah. What is your absolute worst pest you've had to deal with? I mean, I know Jack is a really low. She's very cool about her pests. She doesn't worry too much about it, but there must have been something that happened where you just went, oh wow, what am I going to do about this?
The only enemy I have really in the garden is the squash bug. I still have no idea how to really. I don't see any predators for them. The birds are not eating them because they're stink bugs. But the only way I control them is mechanically by taking sticky tape and then use the sticky side to take off the eggs, and then I hand squash all the squash bugs.
That's very hands-on. That's a lot of, you know, if you're working full-time and you get an infestation, you're not going to have time to be out there just hand picking everything.
Right.
So
a lot.
Got to find a better solution.
I've decided to grow less squash.
Well.
White currant, cherry tomato, and I got the plants from Velarde Gardens in the spring, and it went through a siesta in the summertime, and now as the weather cools they just started to go nuts and producing tons and tons of, and this is just one plant, so it's sprawling from here all the way there. The sprawling method allowed the plant to protect itself from the sun, because if you trellis them upwards like this, the intense summer sun will scorch the sides and the stems of the plant, and when they're sprawling, they kind of layer up and protect themselves. This is the last of my watermelon for this year, and this is a Bradford watermelon. You can see I backed it to protect it from birds. Somehow birds won't touch it if I have this bag over it.
Jack has a lot of different kinds of eggplant. This corner has all filled in since I was here, and the moringa tree as well. And that's gorgeous.
First, we're going to be tasting the caper berry that I pickled myself from our plants.
Okay.
And these have been pickled for 3 weeks with backyard egg from my friends. And here is our dessert, which is from our roselle grown in the backyard. This is candied roselle on top of whipped sour cream and wafer. And over here is roselle syrup infused with chiltepin pepper, so there's a little kick in it.
Now, how are we going to eat that?
So the capers, the caper berry, you can taste it like that just to get a little kick of the caper. It's simply pickled with just salt, vinegar, and water for 3 weeks.
So good.
Immediately off the plant into the brine.
Sort of like a caper, but more expanded.
It's a little more complex, I think, and it goes really well with any savory stuff, especially with eggs.
Let's try it.
Just wrap it up with the egg.
I already ate my caper. This is our breakfast.
Gotta have the bacon.
That is so good. I have one more. All right, let's move to dessert. Now this is a beautiful flower.
This is a Dauben tropical water lily. It's its own species, and it has this very intoxicating fragrance, and it's prolific bloomer. So whole summer you get flowers every day.
But they only are open for one day in the pond, right?
Pond.
Okay, try one. I'm gonna try this one. Now I'm eating the, what is this part of the?
That's the CALYX of the roselle flower.
CALYX. All right.
Fun dessert. It's tart and sweet and crunchy. I like it candied like this.
You candied it? Okay.
And this is the one with a chiltepin, so there's a little bit of spiciness to balance out the sweetness.
Now she made a syrup from what part? From
the CALYX also.
Okay, so you took separate ones and you made a syrup, and then she infused it with her the chiltepin pepper, which is the native pepper to the region, right?
The Sonoran Desert.
They're really hot and tiny, and she used those to infuse. How do you infuse something?
So once I have this syrup ready, I take a little bit of it and I crush up the fresh chiltepin pepper, and in the slow simmer, I kind of stir it for about 10 minutes, and then I strain the seeds out and then put the syrup that's infused back into the main pot and then blend it in together. So you don't get the seeds, but you got the heat.
So most of the heat from the chiltepin, because it's tiny, is from the seeds,
That's from
right?
the seed, yes.
These tiny little peppers have, what, 20, 30 seeds inside?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just packed. You open and it's seeds. We have one more wonderful thing to taste. Now, how many fig trees do you have?
Right now I have 4 fig trees.
That's all? It seems like there's a fig everywhere I look. Oh, you know why? It's because the papaya, sometimes the papaya looks a little bit like the fig when they're,
of the leaves.
yeah, when they're smaller. But 4 figs, and this is the, well, you just said it.
Violette de Bordeaux.
Okay, here we go.
The flavor is so intense.
It hits you with a kind of a sweet taste, and then kind of a like wine. You almost feel like a wine taste. That was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.